Okay, so here we go in the book of Hosea, chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 1, and it read, Come, and let us return unto the Most High Power, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. Verse 2, After 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. Okay, just like he did Hamashiach. In the third day he have risen Hamashiach up, right? Verse 3, Then shall we know, if we follow on to know the Most High Power, his going forth is prepared as the morning. Okay, meaning that he's going to make your path straight, man, right? He's going to have all of the obstacles out of your way. Okay. And he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter and former rain onto the earth. All right. So that's how plain the Most High is going to make your life, man, if you're serving him by keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, man, right? In conjunction with this, let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2. Okay. So here we go in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2, as you can see here on the screen. And we're going to start at verse 2. And it read, There is none holy, which is set apart, right? As the Most High Power, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our power. Okay, so there's no cobblestone in Mecca like the Most High. There's no Krishna, Shiva, Madhava, and Hinduism like the Most High, right? There's no Horus, Heru, Isis, and Egyptology like our God, man, the God of the Bible, the God of Israel, man, right? Verse 3, Talk no more so exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Most High is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Okay, so by the Most High Power, your actions are going to be weighed, man, which come out of your mind, right? Verse 4, The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girded with strength. Okay, so if you're weak, the Most High is going to make you strong, man, right? Verse 5, They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, right? Meaning the sellouts, all right, the so-called Boule society of our people, man. The 2/3, the willful sinners of our nation, man, who don't give a damn about keeping these laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, right? Don't give a damn about their own people, okay? And they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren have borne 7, and she that have many children is waxed feeble. Okay, so the Most High is turning the tables here, as it plainly states here, right? Verse 6, The Most High killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Okay, just like he did Hamashiach, right? And all of the killing and the judgment that's going on around here is of the Most High, right? It's not of Satan. Okay, it's not of these wicked people that you see running around here with guns and knives, shooting everything up, stabbing everybody up, right? It's from the Most High. He's putting these spirits and the people to do these things, man, which is spirits of vengeance. Okay, verse 7, The Most High maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Okay, so this, like it says in the book of Deuteronomy 15, you know, the poor and the needy is not going to cease out of the land. All right, so this is the reason why he blesses some and he leaves some poor or less fortunate, just to see if the nation of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, the Seminole Indians of Negroid descent, he's going to see if they're going to keep that commandment, okay, not a choice, to help the less fortunate and the needy, right? Verse 8. He raises up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them what? Among princes, to make them inherit the throne of what? Of glory, which is honor, right? For the pillars of the earth are the most high powers, okay? So that's for the ones who's well seasoned in this faith. They understand when it says the pillars of the earth, right? And he have set the world upon them, okay? He set the world upon them. Verse 9. He will keep the feet of his saints, okay? So right there, that's another title for his people, which is the hopeful one-third elect, right? Now, in general, all of the Israelites are known as saints, but, this is referring to the hopeful one-third elect, right? And the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail, all right? So by your own strength, your own might, all right? Your own faith and your own beliefs, which is all vanity, by the way, which is a part of the 7 deadly sins, you're not going to prevail, man. The only way that you're going to prevail is through the strength of the Most High, man, right? Verse 10. The adversaries of the Most High power shall be broken to pieces, right? And this goes for even the people within our nation. This is not only talking about all of the other nations. This is talking about the 2/3 too, the one who hate keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High and the ordinances, right? It despises them, okay? The adversaries of the Most High power shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Most High power shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exhort the horn of his anointed. All right. So he's talking about Hamashiach here. He's going to give strength unto his king and exhort the horn of his anointed. All right. Now, this could be literal or in a spiritual sense, because we all have that horn of the Most High, right? We have that mark of the Most High in our minds, right? So he's going to exalt that spirituality, that spiritual horn of his anointed. Who's the anointed? The ones that's doing the work of the Most High, the ones that's keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, the ones who's doing video epistles as I'm doing right now. All right. So in continuation, let's go to the book of St. Matthew, chapter 5. Okay. And we're going to jump down to verse 41. And it read, and whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain, meaning go with him 2 miles. All right. Verse 42. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. All right. So this is Hamashiach speaking here, man. So this, like I said, if you call yourself a so-called Christian and follower of Christ, well, you can't say, oh, well, that's a part of the old law, right? We don't have to do those things now, right? It's one for all and all for one, so to speak, right? Every man for himself. Let every man earn for himself. We don't have to keep those old customs no more, right? But right here, this is in the New Testament. This is what Hamashiach said. And if you're fond with the scriptures, which is the gospel, you will see that this is written in red letter here, right? But what Hamashiach said, give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. All right, this is what Christ is telling you, man, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 14, in conjunction with what I was saying earlier on who we're supposed to give to. The Most High is quite clear on who we're supposed to be supporting, man, right? But unfortunately, you got a lot of our people, who's stuck in religious churchianity and Roman Catholicism and all of these other false ideology religions. They're given to snakes. They're given to wolves in sheep's clothing, man, right? And then they call themselves doing charity, alms, right? You're doing philanthropy to all of these falsified charitable organizations. And they're not even giving to the people, man, that need it, right? But this is who the Most High tells us who we should give to, man, right? So this is in the book of Sirach here. Okay. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm in the right book. All right, so, okay. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14, which is also known as the Sirach in the hidden books, right? And we're going to start at verse 2. And it read, Blessed is he whose conscience have not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. All right, so blessed are we who still following the Most High, man. Okay. Verse 3. Riches are not comely, which is beautiful, for a niggard. All right. So that's also letting you know that the word niggard is in scripture, right? And having riches is not comely. It's not beautiful for him because they're not going to do beautiful things with it. Okay. They're not going to help people with it. All right. And what should an envious man do with money? All right. So if you're envious and jealous, you don't want to see people with anything, right? Because you're afraid that they're going to be above you. You don't want to help people. All right. Then you're known as an envious man who your riches is not comely to, right? Verse 4. He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul, which is your so-called sellouts, your boule society, right? Gathereth for others. Who's those others? The ones that's oppressing you, ruling over you, your so-called agents from the other nations that's waiting for you to die so they could take all of your money, take all of your publishing, okay, take all of your resources, all right? That shall spend his goods riotously, all right? So if you're a so-called entertainer, a public jester, okay, for Hollywood, all right, this is what these people are waiting on. Okay, when you die, that money is going straight to them. And this is the reason why they're pushing, not having children, so your kids can have an inheritance. So when you die, it goes to them. If it don't go to your children, if you don't have any, it goes to your next of kin, your brother, your sister, or whatever, or your mom, your dad. Okay. So this is the reason why they divide and conquer. Okay, they tell you not to help your people. They tell you not to help your brother, your sister. Okay, because they want you to have that mindset. So if something was to happen to you and you die, that money goes straight to them. Those millions of dollars go straight to them. It don't go to the next of kin. It don't go to your family. It don't go to your children, right? So this is the reason why they push that doctrine amongst our nation of people, man. Okay, and this is what they're going to do, right? That shall spend his goods riotously. All right. Verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. All right. Meaning, so basically, you're evil to yourself. All right. If you don't care about your own people, right? You don't care about your own household, technically, literally, and figuratively, which is your nation of people, then who else are you going to be good to? All right. He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Let's jump down to verse 7. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly or grudgingly, as I said before, right? And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. All right. So don't be a grudgeful giver. You know what I'm saying? If you're helping someone out and you know that they need it, but you want to look down on them when you're giving it to them, then you're giving it grudgingly, okay, unwillingly. You really don't want to do it. So the Most High sees your mind. He sees that that's the way you are. So you're not going to receive the blessings of the Most High because you're not giving with a willful, cheerful heart, man, right? Verse 8. The envious man have a wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. Okay, so that's what you do. You despiseth men when you say that you don't want to help no one. Okay. Oh, let them earn it themselves, even though they're not even willing to do it, right? If they're not able to do it, okay. But you have a hateful eye towards that person. You despise them. I know that they're in need, but I'm not going to help them. Yeah, I have a couple of $100 in my pocket, but I don't have any spare change. But you fit to go to that clothing store and buy clothes, right? You're planning your vacation the next week, which is going to cost you thousands of dollars, by the way. But you don't have any money to spare to someone who's in need, right? So this is why the scripture says this, man. The envious man hath a wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. All right. Verse 9. A covetous man eye is not satisfied with his proportion, and the iniquity of the wicked drive up his soul. Okay. Who's the wicked of the earth? According to the book of Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, right? Verse 10. A wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. Verse 11. My son, according to thy ability, do good to thyself, and give the Lord his due offering. Okay, what's the Most High's due offering? The Most High's due offering, Salakia, is the tithing. Okay, the due offering is charity. It's alms. It's so-called philanthropy. All right. That's the Most High's due offering, man. Okay, Salakia. Thought I saw something there. Sort of distracted me a little bit. But we can't be distracted in doing this work, right? Verse 12. Remember that death will not be long in coming, and that the covenant of the grave is not shewed unto thee. All right, so you're not going to know when you're going to die, but death is inevitable to us all. It's going to happen to us all. We all have our date, right? But we don't know when it's going to come. Lest you're tempting the Most High, and then you happen to commit like suicide or anything, or have any suicidal thoughts, or have any suicidal missions that you're going on, right? Verse 13. Do good unto thy friend before thou die, and according to thy ability, stretch out thy hand and give to him. Okay, so this is big with the Most High. Just like I said, man, the Most High encourages his people to help their own people, man, right? According to your ability, right? Verse 14. Defraud not thyself of the good day, and let not the part of a good desire pass over thee. All right, so that's a good day when you have a cheerful and giving heart, a giving mind, a willingness of mind to help people. That's a good day, man. But if you don't do that, then you're defrauding yourself of that good day, right? Verse 15. Shalt thou not leave thy travails to another, and thy labors to be divided by lot? Verse 16. Give and take and sanctify thy soul, right? So that's how you're going to sanctify thy soul. That's how you're going to be blessed by the Most High, man. By what? Give, as it says here for the first word in verse 16, right? For there is no seeking of vanities in the grave. So, when you die, when you leave here, you go back into the spiritual realm for your judgment, then all of that stuff that you should have done when you was on the earth, when you had all of that money, you're not going to be able to do that now. You're not going to be able to heighten your status quo, so to speak, in the heavenly kingdom, because you're already in the grave. So why not do that now, so the Most High can bless you more, not only on earth, but when you're back in the spiritual realm, you're going to have that hierarchy in the heavenly kingdom by doing the works of the Most High, man, right? Verse 17. All flesh waxeth old as a garment, for the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt not die the death. Okay, when you die the death, that means you're going to have eternal torment, which is in hell, a hellish condition, right? You got a lot of brothers and sisters, unfortunately, there teaching that there's no such thing as hell. Now, I'm not too sure where that doctrine comes from, but you can't be a believer in the New Testament, in which speaks of hell all throughout it, and it speaks of an eternal torment in a lake of fire, which is known as hell. It's not only just known as the grave. Of course, that's a part of being in hell, because there's no more life in you. Okay, there's no more hope for you. There's no more repentance for you. All right. But you also have a spiritual hell too. Okay. In the spiritual realm. And then there's, eternal torment also with demons. If you haven't lived a righteous life here on earth, then you're going to be in a spiritual hell, right? Like, you can't tell me that you honestly believe in Hamashiach, right? You're saying that you honestly believe in Hamashiach, you believe in the New Testament, you follow the New Testament, but you're telling people that there's no hell. I mean, that don't make no sense. So you telling me you can do whatever the hell you want here on earth. Well, first you push keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High to gain salvation from the Most High, be in heaven, right? But you're telling people there's no hell. Okay, so you're teaching people to keep the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, to live a righteous life, to gain the keys of the kingdom. But you're saying that there's no hell where you go to when you die if you're living wickedly upon the earth. That don't make no sense to me. So if there's no hell, then why keep the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High? Why live righteously here on earth right now in this lifetime if there's no such thing as a hell or a place of eternal torment with demons, right? When it's written in Revelation. Okay. Now, I do understand in the book of Isaiah, it says hell hath enlarged herself, but that could be in a literal sense or that could be in a spiritual sense. Okay, just like I said before in the book of the Gospels, it says as done in heaven as in earth. Okay, so if there's a hell or a hellish condition on earth, then obviously there's a hell in the spiritual realm too, because whatever is done here on earth is done in heaven. So if you're in a hellish condition here on earth, or if you're headed to hell, then obviously there's going to be a spiritual hell too. So I don't understand how some people teach that doctrine that there's no hell. I don't know, maybe they lost the faith. Maybe they want all of their blessings now in this lifetime. They lost patience. I don't know. But I can't get with that doctrine, man. Now, I do believe in, hell can be a state of mind. It could be a state of well-being. I do understand that. I do agree to that. But I also believe that there's a spiritual hell, too, in a place of eternal torment with demons. All right. If that wasn't the case, then there wouldn't be no such thing as demons. There wouldn't be no such thing as a left side of the Most High. Right? So I don't know about that doctrine, man. I do believe that there's not only a physical hell, which is a state of well-being and a state of mind, but there's also a spiritual hell. I do believe that, right? Which eventually will be a place of a lake of fire here, which is going to be the judgment of spiritual Babylon, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, and so on and so forth, man, right? So getting back to the book of Sirach. As it says here, verse 17, all flesh waxeth old as a garment, for the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt not die the death, or thou shalt die the death, Salakia. So this, like I said, death is inevitable for us all. We all have that date, so we all going to die. And then comes the judgment, all right? Whether you're going to go to heaven or if you're going to be in a hellish state. All right. Let's go to chapter 12. Still here in the book of Sirach. Let me see if I could just backspace here. Oh, probably can't. Let's do it this way. Let's just go ahead and pull it up this way here. Okay, so here we go. The book of Sirach, which is also known as the book of Ecclesiasticus, and the Apocrypha, which is also known as the hidden books of the Holy Scripture, chapter 12, and we're going to go to verse 3. And it read, now as you can see here, this is sort of written in like Old English right here, right? But I don't think this is too hard for y'all to read, but here we go. Verse 3 from the top. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil. All right. Nor to him that giveth what? No alms. All right. So the Most High is clear here, man, in the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 3. There can be no good come to him or her that is always occupied in evil. Okay. Now, what's that evil? That's not necessarily talking around, just going around being a bad person, cursing people out or starting fights or whatever, starting bar fights or whatever. That's talking about the wickedness, right? Serving other gods, right? You're into Hinduism. You're into Buddhism, okay? You're into Islam. You just came off keeping 40 days of Ramadan, right? You took a trip to Mecca to kiss that Kaaba stone, which is idolatry, okay? All of the stuff. You're into evil witchcraft, right? Hating your own brethren and sister, right? That's what you call evil. Also, not giving your alms, not giving your tithing, okay? Not doing your charity, your so-called philanthropy, all right? That's what you call evil. Nor to him that give no alms, all right? Verse 4. And this, like I said before, the Most High, he's precise in who to give to, right? As it says here, give to the who? The godly man, all right? Who's the godly man or woman? The ones who's keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? And help not a sinner. Okay, who's the sinner? That's the 2/3. The ones who's not keeping the law, statutes, commands of the Most High. The ones who just came off of keeping 40 days of Lent, right? 40 days of Ramadan in Islam, okay? They're practicing wicked witchcraft, all right? Serving other gods, believing in Shiva, Krishna, Madhava in Hinduism, believing in Buddha in Buddhism, and Fuchsius, okay? The beast himself in religious Christianity and Roman Catholicism, right? That's the sinner. Verse 5. Do well unto him that is lowly, which is humbled, right? But give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, okay? So hold back your bread from the sinners, man. Don't strengthen the hands of sinners, right? And give it not unto him, lest he what? Overmaster thee thereby. For else thou shalt receive twice as much as evil, right? You're going to receive evil from the person, which is the sinner that you help. And plus, you're going to receive curses from the Most High for helping the sinner, right? For all the good that thou shalt have done unto him, right? So all of the blessings that the Most High was supposed to give to you for helping the godly people, the ones who's keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, the ones who's ending the Feast of Unleavened Bread tonight, which is the 7th day, right? All of the blessings that the Most High was going to give to you for helping that person, he's now going to give to the evil person, and then you're going to get the curses, right? And then on top of that, he's going to put the spirit in that sinner to overmaster and overthrow you too, right? So the Most High is serious about this, man, right? So this is the reason why you have to help the less fortunate, okay? And the so-called poor. Because really, we all poor as a nation of people. We're at the bottom of the totem pole. No matter how much money you got, we still hate it in this society. Okay? We're still behind enemy lines, right? We're still in captivity and servitude, paying tribute onto Caesar, right? So you're still poor. You don't have your own nation, right? You don't have your own car dealerships, major car dealership. I haven't seen not one of our people, so-called Negro, so-called Hispanic, so-called Seminole Indian, never saw no one with their own major car dealership, right? Never seen no one with a GM dealership, never seen no one with a Ford Motor Company dealership, right? Not even a Kia dealership, right? Let alone Nissan, Toyota, and Honda, okay? Mercedes-Benz, BMW, forget about it. Audi, forget about it. Range Rover, forget about it, right? Land Rover, really, right? And then you have to think about it. How are all of these places staying in business? Okay. See, these are the little things that goes over our people head without thought, man. Right? So we like to say as a nation of people, we're succeeding in this society, right? We're coming up. We're moving on up, right? Just like the Jeffersons, right? But where have you seen an all, I ain't going to say just black, just like I said, this goes for all of us, man, who's of the nation of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Seminole Indians, man. I haven't seen that one major car dealership owned by one of us. No Ford Motor Company car dealership, no GM dealership, Cadillac, right? No Nissan, no Toyota, no Honda, okay? No Land Rover. Forget about Mercedes-Benz and BMW and Audi. We ain't even going to see those places, not in this society here, right? Don't see none of those places owned. Now, the people that do own it, how are they keeping these places in business, right? How are they keeping these places in business, right? How is the Ford Motor Company up the road from me and the GM dealership down the road, the Nissan dealership down the road from me? How are those places staying in business? I don't see hundreds of people walking up in there on a daily basis buying cars, man. I don't see it. So how are they staying in business, right? But when you have somebody from our nation of people who happen to come across a little bit of money and have their own little used car dealership, they don't stay in business for long. You know why? Because we're not getting the credentials. We're not getting the grants as these other places getting. The nation of people, man. But us, if we tend to get a little business like that, a little car dealership or whatever, a little restaurant or what have you, it's not going to stay in business for long if we're not making any sales. If we ain't selling no cars, that place is going to go out of business without question, right? But you have these other major car dealerships, Ford Motor Company, Nissan, GM, Toyota, Honda. They all remain in business year after year after year after year. And it's not like I see hundreds of people going in these places buying cars, man, for them to stay in business. The same thing goes for those little antique shops, those little boutique shops that be in them small towns, right? That's in my local town in general. How are all of these places staying in business? They're not getting any business. No one's going in those places buying all of these ancient furnitures, these ancient boutique furnitures and antiques, whatever, all of these little pictures that they have up in there, those little paintings that no one wants, right? How are all of these places staying in business? No one's flocking in there on an everyday basis buying all of this stuff. But somehow they stay in business, right? These are the things that fly over our people's heads, man. And we don't think about these things, right? But we wonder why our business is shut down after a year or so, because we're not getting a lot of business. There's no clientele being spread abroad about our business to give us service, right? We wonder why our, anything that's concerning restaurants or whatever, and which I think is failed opportunities. I think if you're going to open business, the best businesses to open up is like a car wash or a laundromat, right? Those are the two things that's never going to go out of style, man. Everyone's going to always need their clothes washed. Everyone's going to always need their car wash, man. But a restaurant, you have to be special, right? You have to have some great tasting food, or someone have to really be exalting your business in order for a restaurant to stay open, man. And then on top of that, when you get it, especially for our nation of people, You ain't going to have the people from all of the other nations flocking to your restaurant, man. Right? You're not going to have, and I'm just going to come out and say it, you're not going to have the Caucasian coming to your restaurant like that. You're not going to have the Asian. You're not going to have the so-called Middle Eastern coming to your restaurant, man. The so-called Eastern Indian. Okay, you're not going to have the Japanese, the South Korean, okay, the people from Thailand coming to your restaurant, man. You're not going to have the so-called Jewish coming to support your restaurant. Why? Because you're under the curses, man, as a nation of people, man. Right? You're not supposed to be lucrative like that in this society. Okay, if you're truly serving the Most High, you're not going to have a lucrative business like that. You got to be into all sorts of sin. Okay, you got to be a part of the so-called Boule society to be successful in this society, man. And that's no BS. Okay, if you're really paying attention to what's going on, the way this society is headed, this capitalist society, okay, you're not going to be lucrative in this society if you're into some sort of wickedness, if you're not into some sort of wickedness. All right, so that sort of boggles me how we always talk about opening restaurants, but if we don't have no support from our own people, then what other nation of people is going to come into your restaurant and support you to keep your business thriving? All right, unless you have a laundromat, unless you have a car wash, right, where everyone can use. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So if you don't have certain businesses, then how are you going to stay afloat? And how are all of these other businesses staying afloat, right? Without any clientele, without any service on a daily basis, right? So this is something that our people have to think about, man. These are the things you drive past that Ford company dealership on a daily basis. You drive past that Nissan dealership on a daily basis, and they still open. It could be year after year after year. They still open for business, right? But you could know someone who's of our nation of people who just opened up a car dealership, a used car dealership, like not even a year ago, and they already going out of business, closing it down because they don't have a lot of buyers, a lot of people coming in there purchasing their cars, man, and they don't have enough to pay the property tax on the land that they have their used cars on, right? So this is something to think about, man. You know, but it flies over our people's heads on a daily basis, man. Why? Because they're not concerned, you know, or they just blinded. Okay, as it says here, verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly. Okay, so if you're not keeping the 7 days of unleavened bread, you didn't keep the Passover, okay, you didn't keep the new moon as the beginning of the new year for you, which is the month of Abai, all right, you didn't keep the Sabbath, okay, this is what the Most High says, man. For the Most High hateth sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of what? Their judgment, okay, and punishment. All right, so the Most High is plain, man. Let's go to chapter 7, still in the book of Sirach.